Nurse Blake, welcome to Happening Out. I am so glad to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
We got to start out. We are in some strange times right now. People don't want us to say or be gay, aren't all that interested in science, and don't want us making jokes. You are literally their trifecta of trouble. How are you holding up?
You know what? Good. I have a great supportive community that kind of lets me be myself, and I don't hide it in my show. All that comes out. So there are no secrets about me or my life or who I am, which is really nice and refreshing for me, but I think also for an audience to see.
Why do you want to go back out on the road? I interviewed you like 2 years ago when you were starting, when you were out of the pandemic and hit out on the road. Why put yourself through this again?
You know what? I have so many nurses that say they want to bring more people or bring their whole staff to my shows. And as long as nurses are coming together and having a good time, I'll do it. So if there's a hospital in your area, I think my tour is going or has gone there because I'm doing like over 100 just this year alone.
Well, and on your last tour, you did invite your fellow nurses in to give them a much needed break. Are you going to be doing that again this time? Are you going to be bringing doctors in? Like, what's the plan this time?
So I think my comedy and humor has definitely extended outside of just nurses. So there are a whole array of interdisciplinary people that we work with that also come to my shows, and people that aren't in healthcare at all. Because even if they're not a nurse, they can still relate to my story in some way, because nursing stories, it's all about people, right? So even though it's specific medical terminology, I help break that down in the show. But it's really cool to see my audience, expand and get bigger.
And you're getting bigger. I mean, you're just expanding all over the place. I'm seeing you pop up on my feed more and more, and that can't just be the algorithm. I mean, they can't put stuff out there that's not there to be put out. So what have the last couple of years been like for you as a gay LGBTQ plus comedian and nurse?
You know what? It's good. I'm definitely in a place of privilege compared to, many other LGBTQ people out there that necessarily don't have a safe space to be themselves. And I'm so thankful for my community for always being so accepting and forgiving in some ways, because as a content creator, I always learn about not only myself, but other people and how to treat them and what they want. But then again, I am a comedian. So, I have some sort of safety net where I could kind of just explore many different things and say whatever I really want to say. And I think that throughout my experience, growing up, going through gay conversion therapy and stuff, these past few years, I've been able to kind of explore that trauma. And I'll be talking about some of that actually in my show this year, Shocking Vibes.
It's exploring trauma through comedy.
Exactly. Yes, in a healthier way.
A much healthier way. So like when you're not on stage and when you're nursing, and when you're like trying to put in a line, how do you straddle the line between keeping people calm and happy, but not making them laugh so much that they jerk and you miss the vein?
Yeah, I don't want to make someone laugh so hard that they like throw a clot or something, and stroke out. I don't need that. So definitely when I'm telling jokes, like in the hospital, they're very more like G-rated. My show, it's 18 and up, so it's really for adults only. So, and it's called Shock Advice. So be prepared to hear jokes and words that I would never say in the hospital.
Because I've spent, unfortunately, a lot of time in hospitals with family and stuff, and I've heard just about every word said, Blake.
You know what? A lot of patients call us so many different types of names, and there are no filters. So nurses, we're kind of used to it, and I think our humor is really dark, and I think it has to be to get us through all the stuff that we have to deal with and go through.
But at the end of the day, there's love for each other and love for the patients, and just as importantly, love for the families, right?
Exactly. I mean, even my comedy, it all comes from a place of love. I think humor is super important, not only for nurses to have and healthcare workers, but for patients and family to also have, the serious, tragic moment in their life. And if I could bring some levity and some joy, they're not going to remember what medication I gave them, but they'll probably remember a joke or, more importantly, how I made them feel. And I always want them to feel good, loved, and supported.
Well, what medications are you giving them that they won't remember, and can you get me some?
Right? I know. I wish. I wish. That's you have to ask a nurse practitioner.
Okay. Okay. Now you're going to be down here in Fort Lauderdale at the Broward Center on December 19th. That's one of 5 dates in Florida. In December. Now, is that a coincidence of scheduling, or is that something you told your agent? No, no, no. We're not going to be cold this winter. We're going to spend Christmas in warm places because you go to Honolulu after this.
I know, it's crazy. You know, it's kind of worked out really well, especially because around the holidays, my whole family's here in Florida. So I'll be able to be here with them, which is nice because honestly, I haven't seen them, in a long time. This tour is 5.5 months long. So I'm really excited to be able to spend kind of the December holiday in my home state.
And of course, South Florida is where we're at. We're recording in Fort Lauderdale. I live over in Wilton Manors. We're the gayest place on earth, and Wilton is the heart of it. Now, I know you've been here before. So what are your favorite places, and what are you looking forward to hitting up this time around?
I wish I could remember that fun bar in Wilton Manor, that 2-story club. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Which ones?
It's like a
Hunters,
2-story club.
Hunters. Yeah, Hunters of the Manor. Yeah.
I think that, so I wish I remember the name, but I was a little too, letting loose. And there's a really cool gay sports bar down there that I'll definitely hit up after the
Gym
show.
bar.
Yeah. See, you got me. I need you to write those down so I don't forget.
Well, that's why we're recording it. Now, you're here on a Tuesday. Tuesday is taco night at Gym Bar. So I'll have to see you here after the show. We'll have a couple tacos and catch up.
Well, then I'm bringing my lesbian cousin with me because she loves the good taco.
Well, she's in LA. She can have the pink taco, no problem, at any time of the year.
I know, it's a good point. Fair, very fair.
I've done a lot of interviews over the years. I've gotten to interview actor Ken Jeong, and was an actual doctor before he became. And on the set of Hangover 2, he told me that people were getting dehydrated and that he was like leaving set and going to treat the people backstage. Have you ever been called upon to use your skills during a show on an audience member or during backstage with the crew while you're on tour?
Luckily, I've never had to do it during, before, after a show. I did have to do it going to a show. I was on the airplane. It was Spirit Airlines. I know, don't be jealous. And it was my first medical emergency that's been called, and I've been a nurse 8 years. So I was so excited, like, this is my healthcare moment. So I was like so dramatic, like, seen as safe, like I'm a healthcare hero. And the girl, she just had an edible, so she was just a little high. I'm like, that's it? That's my story? I was ready to give CPR. I was ready to use the EpiPen.
Oh, she was literally high on a plane.
I'm like, girl, we are high. We're at 30,000.
Oh, well, maybe on your flight down here.
Oh wait, I just never want to give birth on a plane. Oh my God, I don't think I could do that.
Oh, well, and if you do it on a Spirit flight, they'll probably charge you for an extra passenger at a minimum a carry-on.
Oh, for sure they would. Exactly.
All right, so you're here in December. You're going to be wrapping up the tour shortly thereafter. Then in April, you're embarking on NurseCon. Tell me about that, because I mean, in my experience, people are mostly nursing hangovers.
Right, yeah, I know. But nurses, we love to drink, and even at my shows, we will bring like the alcohol record at the venues. It's our unhealed trauma, our unhealthy coping mechanisms. But because nurses love my shows so much and coming out, like I wanted to create a really epic nursing conference. So we have a whole ship next year. I'm so excited, out of Miami for 5 nights. We're going to Mexico and to the Bahamas. We bring on drag queens. We have our own dancers. Nurses get their education. So we bring on a bunch of nursing educators. And it is like the most epic cruise. And the cruise lines love us too. They're like, your cruises are like Atlantis cruises, but for nurses. Like they're that much fun. Yes.
Oh, boy, how much overlap in that Venn diagram is there between Atlantis and nursing? Because I might have to sign up for this one.
There's a little bit of overlap, so you're definitely, you can always come on ours. You're more than welcome.
Oh, you're going to be doing a couple of sets on the show or on the cruise?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yep, I'll be doing my show. I'll be doing meet and greets. I'll be hanging out. I'll be going to the shows that we have. So I definitely, while it's working for me, because I'm running everything, I definitely try to have fun and kick back a little bit with all the guests.
Yeah, by the time you set sail, all the hard work should be done.
I would hope so. And if that were not the case, or the team I would have would be in big trouble. But luckily, everyone's so good. It's like there's like 90 people on at Sea staff, so it's a pretty big crew. But they definitely let me loosen up on the ship, which I love.
And it's not just nurses. Anybody who's ever met a nurse or had blood drawn by a nurse, they can go on this cruise too, right?
You have to be a nurse to be the main guest, but yes, you could come as one of their guests. If you dated a nurse, been with a nurse, then you're definitely more than welcome.
Okay, because that sounds like it's going to be 5 fun days at sea.
It's going to be a lot, and we have theme nights. I can't wait.
Let's talk a little bit about your activism. You have worked to end the FDA gay blood ban, or LGBTQ plus blood ban. Why is this cause important to you? And more importantly, are you happy with the recent changes? Or are you still pushing to get us over the finish line to just like no questions asked? You're a person, we'll take your blood.
Yeah, so I am very happy that the FDA, over the years, I've been working on my campaign called Ban for Life that lifted the lifetime ban on gay males from donating blood in 2015. So over the past 10 years, I've seen a lot of changes to the policy. I think we all have, and I'm just so happy that it's going in the right direction. And at the time when I started Ban for Life in 2013, like no one was really focused on it. But now seeing organizations like the American Red Cross and One Blood out of Florida, like being involved in doing the research studies, like advanced studies to present to the FDA, it's super inspiring. Well, I definitely think there's still more work to be done in blood donations in general. I'm really hoping that we keep pushing forward. But I think we think that change happens overnight, and that's not the case. But I'm so lucky that I kept with it. I didn't give up, and the FDA is definitely listening.
That it just sort of highlights that a lot of people have been fighting the science for longer than just the last couple of years, and you've been on the front line having to deal with that.
Oh, yes, 100%. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a discriminatory ban, not evidence-based, like whatsoever. So I'm just so happy that, the advanced study came out and we were able to present research, this is outdated, this is discriminatory. Right. So that's really cool. And it was really cool to be a part of the advanced study too when it was happening.
Well, on behalf of the community and people who will never realize they're benefiting from your activism because they're just getting their blood and have no idea how it came to them, thank you very much. That's an incredible thing. Now let's move on. You've got a magazine, not like an online magazine. Like you can like hold it like paper.
Yeah.
You can hold it. Are you over now? Are you the
Oh my God. I wish. I love her. She's so inspiring. But yeah, a lot of nurses like watch my videos. They come to my shows. I just want to give them another medium to kind of explore and have my content. And the magazine's really cool because I'm able to tell stories from other nurses. So it's even bigger than what I share on social media or at my shows. So we already have over like 25,000 subscribers to the magazine. First issue just came out. Second issue goes to print in September. And it's so cool seeing them in the break rooms of the hospitals. So it's a really fun project. And it's all written by nurses and myself. So it's a funny magazine. And if you want to subscribe, we get it for free, nurseblake.com.
And you've got a fun community of followers. Like some follower people don't have great communities. You've got a really fun group following you on social.
I'm so lucky. They're all so positive. They're all so happy. They support one another. They support me. I think I'm more focused on the quality of my followers, like the quality than the quantity. I know a lot of other influencers, they try to get the biggest numbers. I have more followers than you, but sometimes that just invites people that don't really like your content or drama into your community. And I don't have time for that. I don't want the negativity. So I'm just focused on the followers that I do have. And if I do get new followers, great. Welcome to the community. But I'm super happy and pleased and lucky to have such a supportive community.
Now, those followers can also get your merch. because you got merch. Now, I'm not going to promote the sweatshirts because it's 85 degrees on Christmas here. So we're going to skip that page. But tell me about the wine and socks.
Yeah, my grandmother is a big lover of wine, and I know nurses like to drink after a long shift. So I was like, I'm going to come up with a wine. So I worked with a wine company out of the Northwest. It was a really cool project. So I have a yummy rosé and a Pinot Grigio that's to die for. It's called 14th Hour because nurses work 12. They drive home on the 13th hour. By the 14th hour, they should be chilling with a glass of wine. And yeah, I have merch. I have a children's book, just like so many cool things that I'm just like passionate about that I've been lucky to work on, because not all people can come to my show. Kids definitely can't. But if, an adult wants to share a little bit of Nurse Blake with their kids, I have a children's book.
That is so cool. And yeah, a lot of the humor, like you said, is for nurses. And that's nurses who are well plus 18.
100%. If you're a nurse under 18, we're calling the cops.
Well, wait. Well, Doogie was a doctor back in the mid 80s and he was 12. So I feel like it's possible.
You're a good point. Good point. Very fair.
Oh, Blake, thank you so much for joining us. You're going to be here Tuesday, December 19th at the Broward Center. Tickets are on sale now. Hopefully they won't be on sale for long because you're going to sell that place out. It's a really great place to watch a comedy show. Obviously, you must enjoy it somewhat because you're coming back.
Yes, I can't wait. I will see y'all in Fort Lauderdale.
Blake, thank you so much. Be well.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
All right.